Well, vehicle sales in Namibia dropping to 887 units in December 2012. This was followed by an upward trend that started in January this year to 936 units and then 1,043 units in February. To unpack March's latest vehicle sales figures, and of course unit sales coming in at 1,123 units. So as we say, an upward trend is what we've been seeing from the economy so far this year. We're crossing over to Windhoek. We've got Alfred Kamupingeni, the Research Director at NEB, standing by to give us his analysis. Thanks very much for joining us today, Alfred. So there we go. We're up from that low point of 887 units in December. An encouraging sign, but we know December is the low point in the annual cycle. So how are you reading into the trend we've seen so far for 2013?
Yes, the first thing I would like to stress is that vehicle sales numbers belong to the pool of economic data that analysts and investors analyze to try and get a feel of the level of present and future economic activities. The other such piece of data will be NCPI, the unemployment rate, and the retail sales. So the general perspective is that the numbers somehow increased from December, but the general trend from year on year, if you look at the situation from a year-on-year basis, since September last year, there have been contractions in the total vehicle sales numbers. And on category basis, most of the categories have been contracting. So by the end of March, the contraction had reached 16.6%, which basically means that increasingly we see less spending on vehicle sales, on new vehicle purchases. We have actually decided to look at a breakdown of vehicle sales, and the specific categories that we focus on are the extra heavy vehicles, because to us, that gives us an indication of the corporate spending in the economy, the investor confidence in the economy. The other category that we look at is passenger vehicles, because to us, that is a window into the spending of the private of the households. What we do in that case, then we look at the 3-month moving averages of the extra heavy vehicles, which, as I said, are mainly type of vehicles that are used for economic activities.
Yeah.
The general trend since February last year, in the 3 months moving averages of the extra heavy vehicles, seems to be downward and stabilized at 21 units in March. Whereas the passenger vehicles, the trend has been continuing to go up. That is slightly surprising to us in the light of the fact that the unemployment rate in Namibia stands at 27%. The debt-to-income ratio of the Namibian household in our calculation is 73. And actually, the Central Bank of Namibia, the Bank of Namibia's number for the debt-to-income ratio, household debt-to-income ratio, is 84.
Yeah.
Which basically means for every $100, hello, yes? Go for it.
I just want to, just as you say, let's just talk about the passenger sale numbers there, because you've brought up a number of issues. Yes. You've brought up heavy commercial, which is an indication of investment activity. But if you've got unemployment at 27%, and certainly not the 51% that was reported back in 2008, but still a quarter of the economy, that's what's being reported right now, don't have jobs, high debt-to-income levels. What's fueling the purchases of new vehicles? Why do you still continue to see that 3-month moving average tick up?
Yeah, it's a strange thing to us. It's an anomaly. We do not expect this trend at best to continue because of the high inflation rate and the high employment rate. But I think there are other factors, especially social values in the Namibian context, that seem to be pushing the passenger vehicle sales upward. And one of the factors is Namibia has got a very small population, a very young population. The bulk of the population is very young. And most of these people, when they start working, they purchase vehicles of their own. One of the reasons being, it seems here, down here, the value of importance of a person is judged upon the material thing that she or he has. That's one thing. And the second thing is that there is no reliable public transport system. So willy-nilly, people have to buy vehicles, even if they have to dig very deep into their pockets. And I think reasonably looking at the situation, one would expect this trend to stop. Because the Bank of Namibia has expressed concern about the spending on vehicles. They have expressed concern, actually going as far as saying they would rather expect people to spend money on productive activities rather than non-productive activities like purchase of vehicles.
So there we go. You're seeing the trend reversing potentially.
And as far as the, we'd expect it to in the medium term to reverse, whereas the extra heavy vehicles that are mainly purchased to carry out economic activities, to us seems to be synchronized with the general global economic situation, because the mining sector in Namibia is the most integrated with the global economy. Recently, we had the Rosing uranium mine announcing they were going to lay off 276% of their employees because of the decrease or the reduction in demand for uranium and the decline in uranium price since they took the event in Japan. So our markets, the markets for our products, the export market for our products, is America and Europe. And we all know the problems that Europe is finding itself in. And recently, the information that came out actually indicate that the UK economy is again in recession. So which means the markets that we normally export our products to are finding it difficult. And I think sooner or later, that stress transmission, that stress is going to be transmitted to the Namibian economy. So which basically means there will be less demand for our products, as a result of which we have to scale down on the economic activities. So that to us perhaps could be the reason why there has been a slowdown in their extra heavy vehicle purchases.